you are doing well. This is Pedal with a very impromptu podcast. I'm sure all of our squatty friends are out and about doing whatever, so you guys will see this at another time. But I am just out here, just hanging out in the park, and so I thought I'd just do a podcast. You guys will get it later, which is absolutely great. Anyway, so what is going on with our faves as I am out here hanging out under my tree and thinking, and that's why I thought I'd do a podcast because I'm like, here I am in the park hanging out under a tree. And we always talk about our faves hanging out under a tree in Montecito. And so I thought, well, since I'm under my tree in New York, well, let's just, talk about our faves who have been very silent lately, and it's great. Our faves are silent, doing whatever it is they're doing in Montecito, and we just are very happy, happy for them, happy for their peace. I know you could probably hear the little sprinklers back there, watering the flowers in front of me here. So, so whatever our faves are doing under their tree, I hope they continue doing that for the summer and just being at peace. Hello, Novi. I see you coming in there. And Nolothandu, hello. As you can see, again, I'm on my tree in the park. I'm working in the park today, so this is part of my office for the day. Although I can't stay here for very long because I'm a little bit allergic to a lot of plants, so I can stay here for a little bit. But welcome to all of you coming in. Again, this is very impromptu. Sitting in the park thinking about our faves who have been very quiet. And so again, we love that they're quiet because at some point they'll show us what they're doing and we will talk about that. But hello, Fatu down here. Hello. So what else is going on in the royal world? Well, yesterday my episode was about Charles Spencer, that is, and Princess Diana's life. Basically Charles Spencer's book or a memoir is talking about his life at the boarding school in Madewell boarding school, which is a bit horrific. Not a bit, but really horrific. And so that's what we're talking about, and just the similarities with how he dealt with some of his trauma and also Diana. And so that's what I've been focused on a lot, and some of the stuff for the other royals that are going on. I mean, I know Prince today, or at least yesterday, I think it was, Princess Anne is in the hospital. And as far as I could tell, it's the same hospital where Charles and Kate were, or supposedly Kate were, for at least the earlier part of the year. And it's very interesting to me that when Charles was in there, we saw Camilla like 3 or 4 times visiting Charles. We see today Anne in the hospital, and we saw her husband. I think his name is Captain Philip or something to that effect. I don't know. I hadn't paid attention to Anne and her husband. And so I think that's his name. And he was visiting her today. And there was a video of him leaving. And reporters were asking him about Princess Anne. And he said she is okay. And apparently she's not going to be leaving the hospital for another week or so. Or at least the end of the week, they said she'll be coming out. And apparently she also had a concussion, which, I mean, she is like 73 years old. So while, if she was a little bit younger, I'd be like, okay, but she is up in age. And so, but we saw him visiting her. And apparently when I was on my way here, I saw something that said that her daughter Zara was also visiting her today. And so we saw that. But it's just very interesting how we saw, we know that her family is visiting. There's video and photo evidence. We saw Camilla visiting Charles. There's video and photo evidence. What is interesting to me is Kate, when she supposedly was in that hospital, and I'm assuming it's the same hospital. Again, I hadn't, I just kind of saw this story in passing. I haven't really even read the story of what happened exactly or what Princess Anne said happened to her. And but I find it interesting that we see evidence of them, at least their family members visiting, but we never saw with Kate other than that one day. I think it was a day after they said she was in the hospital, when she was, I think William was seen in a car apparently heading out of the hospital, and that's been it. That has been it with people. Nobody has ever seen her family. Nobody has ever seen any of the other royals visiting, and it's just so interesting. I mean, I'm assuming the hospital may have private entrances and exits, so that's why we never saw that. And I don't want to go back to this Where's Kate nonsense and all of that stuff again, but I just thought that was like, some things that make you just go, now that's interesting, isn't it? And that's just something that makes me go, that's interesting. I mean, the press were trying in every which way to make excuses as to why her kids, Charlotte and George, weren't there, because apparently the hospital doesn't allow kids and all of this stuff. But it's wild that they have visitors and nobody ever saw Kate, which again, I am very suspicious as to if she was ever in that hospital. For the press, Williams, nobody saw anyone go visit her at all. And so, yeah, it's just things that makes you go, Hello to all my other friends that are coming in. I see Khadijah and Terry and JSC. I can't put it on because I'm outside and I'm just going through the YouTube app, and so it doesn't allow me to click on it and it pops up on the screen. So I don't have that feature available here. But I see you, Perlina, and who else I see? Michelle plays this year, and it doesn't allow me to filter it so that trolls don't get in. So if a troll or two come in, I apologize, because it doesn't allow me to filter it as it, if I'm on the other platform. So Matarazi, I see you here, and Helen and Novi. Yep, I see you guys. Hi. Oh, I think I said Novi before. Let's see who else is here. Angelina, I see you. Yes. Angelina says, I don't think Kate was ever at that hospital. Camilla went twice in one day and didn't say she stopped by to see Kate even once. I know, right? I mean, they were trying to say that Charles went to see her while they were both in the hospital, but again, there is literally no evidence of this at all. Yes, JSC, it's very cool. I'm sitting in a garden and under a tree here, and with all of these flowers, and you could probably see the sprinklers in the background there. It's just watering the plants around. And this garden kind of have a special meaning for me, just so you know why I love it here. Even though I can't spend a lot of time here because of my allergies and stuff. But I remember years ago when I was just in a really bad place. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do at all. I couldn't figure out, and it was so depressing. I felt like all of my friends knew what they wanted to do, and except me, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I remember walking through this garden, and different people in the community have little patches of gardening, and so I don't even know if it's there, but as I was walking through, and I remember I was praying, like, God, like, what do I want to do with my life? I have no idea. And there was a little garden patch that was called Petals Way. Even though it was spelled a little bit different, it was spelled Petal, but for me it was like a sign from God. I don't know, it was one of those moments you feel like, oh, God is talking to me, he's telling me that there is a way. And so I had this kind of moment when I sat in the park for the rest of the day and just decided what I was going to do and what I was going to pursue. And part of it was focus on what I love to do, like in the arts and all forms of the arts that I love, and not try to box myself into one thing or two, but just do all the things that I love to do. And so that's why this place has a kind of a special meaning, because I felt like it was when I started to be like, okay, I could do this. But just seeing that little garden patch with the sign that says Petals Way, it was like, it was like God showing me the way. Don't ask, it was just a moment. And it's probably not even any of that, but it's just how I felt at the time. So that's why this, even though I can't spend a whole lot of time here, it's a special place for me. So anyways, enough about my little stories of New York. What else is happening? We're not talking about Meghan's and her extended crazy relatives. That's like a little off limit for me. I refuse to engage in that nonsense. So what else? Staying on Princess Anne a little bit. Earlier in the year, her husband was walking around with I think they call it a shiner, like a black eye. And I don't know, maybe it's just my conspiracy theory mind. I was like, a few months ago he had a black eye. They said it was like from a gardening incident or something. And I was like, how do you get a black eye from a gardening incident? Maybe a hole flipped up and hit him in the eye. I mean, I couldn't figure out how you get a black eye from a gardening incident. But, they said it was some kind of, accident in a garden. And now she has hit in the head, apparently by a horse, but they seem to not be sure if it's a horse or what exactly the horse did. And it's like they have all these different stories about what exactly happened with Princess Anne. And if she has a concussion, so maybe she doesn't even remember. So if she doesn't really remember, how does she know it's a horse? And it's the horse that did it. And so it's like, all of it, I guess that's why I'm like, some things that make you go, And so yeah, it's just like very, very, I don't know, very suspect in a lot of ways with all of these things. And so so whatever happened with her and her husband, I'm like, is there something that they need to be talking about? Is that something we need to be talking about? Whatever is going on in Princess Anne and her husband's home with their little accidents. So hey, little Mac, I see you there, and TMCD, I see you as well. Who else is here that I didn't say hello to? Khadijah, I think I said hello to you before. Veronica is here. JSC is here. So hi guys. I know this is totally impromptu. Again, I'm sitting under a tree in my office for a little bit, and this is the joys of working with New York, that you don't have to be in a crazy office or on the inside on a beautiful day. And if you're in New York, as I am, I know you're very grateful today because the heat wave broke yesterday, and so today is actually very, very beautiful. For a few days, oh my goodness, you could not stand outside. It was just horrible. So yeah. What else is happening? Can somebody please put a muzzle on this, whoever this Tom Quinn is in the UK? Like, what is with this guy? Every time I turn around, magazines of all kinds are like quoting this dude and he just says the craziest things about the Sussexes who he doesn't know. Sorry, it's New York, so you're hearing a motorcycle rolling by me in the park. Don't ask. But like, what is the deal with people quoting this guy? And since when he is now the mouthpiece of the royal family in some way, like, and people tend to believe him for some reason, and I don't quite understand. I was like, who is this dude? I mean, I know he is a writer and all of that stuff, but since when he's become like the mouthpiece for all things royal? And everyone and their brother seems to be quoting him, and it's just the most ridiculous thing that I've seen in a long time. So yeah. And what else is happening? William apparently was, not apparently, but yes, he was at Taylor Swift's concert. And I know there's been a bit of a hub in the squad. A lot of, on X, I've muted or have to block a lot of even squaddies for not posting nonsense about and really just responding to the craziness of the British press. And so I haven't been as up to date with this whole thing with Prince William going to Taylor Swift's concert. And so I know there's been a bit, but I do know there's been a bit of like a competition, it seems, where it's like, oh, William is having a great time at Taylor Swift's concert, and Harry was miserable. And so I've seen it, different screenshots going around and different video trying to do the competition thing. Well, no. Harry had a great time at Beyonce's concert and all of that stuff. And my thing with all of this is, it's okay to let William have his positive moments. It's totally okay to be totally fine with him going and enjoying himself and enjoying himself with his kids. And it was his birthday. I don't know if it was the same day was his birthday that he went, but at least sometime around his birthday a few days ago. And it's okay, we don't have to compete. And I know it's one of the things that in the squad, it's like, why are they always trying to compete? William doesn't compare, so there's no competition. Well, then don't make it one. Even if the British press try to do the competition stuff, they only do it that because when they write about William and Kate, they know that nobody would pay attention unless they put the Sussex's name in there. We don't have to engage. We literally do not have to engage in this nonsense. And so if you're upset about the competition stuff, don't engage in it. And the reason why they keep doing it is because the squad engage. And if I were them and I was writing, and I know that the Cambridges are not going to give me engagement, which is how I make money, and I know that if I put the Sussex's name in there and make it a competition, then the squad is going to come and amplify it. Then if I'm a tabloid, that's exactly what I will do. And so that's what they do. So in the squad, I think in the year of our Lord 2024, the middle of 2024, I think we have to be a little more adult about these things. And it's okay for people to have positive moments. That we don't have to make it in a competition. We don't have to get upset about it, even when they lie about the Sussexes, like, oh, Harry didn't have a good time at Beyonce's concert. There were, in fact, pictures of Prince Harry. When I first saw Harry at the first thing that came out from Prince Harry at Beyonce's concert, he didn't look happy. So did, I remember even Gabrielle, whatever her name is, whose husband is a basketball player. He looked the same as Harry. As a lot of men who were at the concert, they look like, oh, can I go to a baseball or a basketball game, please? I'm not here for a concert. A lot of them look the same way. And so the first image of at that concert was, in fact, he didn't look happy. And then Matt, I think his name is Classy or something like that, who was at the concert, started putting out these clips of Harry and Meghan having a great time. And we saw photos of them kissing behind Mama Doria, who was having the time of her life, and them dancing and all of that stuff. And so, but we have all of that evidence. So even if the British press wants to do revisionist history and this nonsense, we don't have to engage. We really, really, really don't have to engage in this nonsense because, we know the truth. We don't have to compete. If, Harry and Meghan are not competing against us, they are literally paying them dust. They are literally not engaging in anything the British press is saying. They are literally silent. And I think we need to just grow up in this area. A squad, that's the reason I had to block or really mute a lot of people, because I feel like at this age, I don't know how old people are, but I feel like there was this movie with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon, I think it was called, and one of Danny Glover's line has always been, I'm too old for this stuff. He uses a word I don't usually use. But I feel the same way. I, as a grown woman, in the middle age, I'm like, look, I am too old for this stuff. I'm too old to get involved or really entertain nonsense like competition between Harry and Meghan and William over a concert. Let the people go to a concert and enjoy themselves and have a good time. It's his birthday. I don't care. He doesn't. It is. There's no value in being upset or competing about this stuff. So what? He goes to a concert. Let the guy have a good time. I mean, why does there need to be a competition? And even if the British press are trying to do a competition, is understanding that that's all they have. They don't have access to our faves. They know nothing about our faves. Our faves are literally paying them dust. They don't have, that's the only narrative they have. And this crazy narrative I think they still have about, will the Sussexes come back? Will they be welcome back to the fold? I mean, again, even with that nonsense, I mean, we know the truth, how they're not coming back. And that's just that. There's no need to engage in the British press nonsense about that and going back and forth and back and forth. It's just like, look, as Danny Glover says, for me personally, I'm just too old for this nonsense. And there are too much more important things going on in the world to be doing that. So that's kind of how I feel about stuff. I mean, again, big deal. So what? I hope he went and had a good time. It's his birthday. Anybody, I mean, I wish, doesn't matter how I feel about somebody, especially if it's your birthday, go have a good time. And it's, you have your kids there, have a great time. Hey, and move on. That's all that's needed. We don't need to engage in nonsense. So yeah, it just, again, I'm sure Taylor Swift is a wonderful lady. I mean, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, so I don't really pay much attention to that sort of thing. But I'm not even a big Beyonce fan, to tell you the truth. I like her, but I'm not, I'm more of a Rihanna person. And so, and, I'm from the Caribbean, so hey, I'm a little biased with my Caribbean folks. So yeah, so again, that's kind of where I am with that stuff. But I think that's the only thing I think that's going on now, I think. And our faves again are doing whatever it is they're doing. I saw a little article with Carly, whatever her last name. I never remember her last name. She wrote the book Meet Me at the Lake that I read, that Harry and Meghan are adapting to a screenplay and to a movie. And she talked again a little bit about just being really happy that they are and Netflix are adapting it. So it'll be interesting to get an update on that, to see how far along they are. I know they were in development, and so, which usually takes a while. So it'll be interesting to see where they are. It'll be interesting to see where Meghan is with her podcast with Lemonade, if she is now or in the future sometime. It would be very interesting to know that as well. And so yeah, so I'm gonna jump into chat and see. I'm sure other stuff are happening, but I've been kind of more paying attention to what's going on in, I don't want to say real world, because this is also real world, but the wider world. And so that's why I'm not, I may have missed a few things with what's going on in the royals. I mean, for my thing is, if our faves are silent, I kind of sort of cast a glance at what's happening and not go too deep into that stuff. But in terms of, say, Princess Anne, one of the things that I am going to do, because it's what I always have a question, because I see even American media have been writing about this, about, her being the hardest working royal, and she has all of these like 300 and something or more patronages, and she is all over the place. I have always asked the question, like, what has been her impact? She does all of this stuff. She goes all over the place. She has all of these engagements all the time, all of these patronages. But I have never, ever, ever heard what impact she has made, whether by going to a different country or visiting other countries, or actually, even then, what is she doing in those other countries? Like, what exactly is her role there? What does she go to do? And even in the UK, what impact has she had on the patronage that she has? I have never heard anything, and maybe because the press doesn't really cover her as much, but I want to know. It's the same questions I've had with the Queen. They always said, the Queen has accomplished all of this stuff, and to this day, I have no idea what this woman has accomplished because nobody seems to know. Even President Obama when she passed away, was talking about, all the things she has done. And I'm like what? I want to know. I don't know what it is. And so I have the same questions about Anne. And so that's the thing that, oh, sprinklers are gone. So I guess they've already done watering the plants now. Oh, I like the sprinklers. But anyways, so that's one of the things that I am good, since our faves are quiet, I am going to be doing a little bit of research into finding out, because I really, really want to know what it is she's done, what impact she's had on, the patronages that she's a part of, and what she does when she travels to all these countries, because I know she was supposed to go to Canada and someplace else, and she's had to cancel it. I think she was supposed to go this week or next week or something, and she's had to cancel it because of, she's in the hospital. And so again, I just want to know. So that's one of the things I'm going to be focused on, is like, what does she do and what impacts it? Like literally tangible impact. Like we see with the Sussexes, we know what they're doing, and we know the impact underground. We know the effect on the people underground. What, if any, has she had in all of these years as the hardest working royal? So I just kind of want to know that. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's see. Oh, wait, who's this? Lorna. I'm sorry. I'm on the grass and you're coming up as green, and it was like faded into the green there. Says Princess Anne was supposed to be in Newfoundland, Canada, and it was canceled. In Canada, Annie is the patron of some Canadian military units, as is Edward. And I'm like, again, the royal family's nonsense. With like, okay, why is Anne the patron? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to turn this a little bit. Okay, why is Anne the patron and Edward the patron of military units in Canada? I I will never know. And so, okay, so what does she do there exactly? Was she just gonna be there to meet them, or like, again, what impact has she had? Thibe said colonizing. Well, as usual. As usual. It's what they know and what they do, right? Let's see. Kojo Oneful says, Petal, you do deserve to be named after that place. Oh, thank you. Even if it's spelled a little bit different, I take ownership of it too. Oh, thanks. Petal's Way. I have to go visit to see if Petal's Way is still there. If Petal's Way is still there, it's a little bit further up in the garden. So if it's still there, I will take a photo and post it in our community page. If it's still there, I hope it's still there. Marilyn says, I'm so tired of Sussex podcasters chasing down every negative article and soundbite. I've had to check out for peace. Please do. If this stuff affects you mentally, and it's one of the reasons I refuse to be going back and forth with the British press and their nonsense. It is of no value to anyone, and knowing that, it's like they're just doing it for money and clicks, and so they're using us, and that stuff, after a while, it affects you mentally. And so please check out, and if you feel that this is something that is going to be detrimental to your health, check out even from this podcast if it's too much, because sometimes I do post real world stuff that's going on in Palestine, stuff that's going on in Congo and stuff. It is heavy stuff. Even the podcast I did yesterday is a heavy podcast. And you always know when I do these heavy podcasts, because YouTube usually censor it for a bit, and then I would always have to, challenge it, and then they usually relent and be like, oh, but by then I gain no profit from it at all, in spite of all the hard work and research. But it is what it is. I feel it's necessary news that people need to know the truth, and so I put it there. And so some of it is heavy. If it's too much for you, I understand. For our mental health, we got to do what we need to do. So yeah, and so if stuff in other podcasts, or especially with the British press and their negativity, check out of it. Don't sacrifice your mental health for stuff like that. It's not worth it, because a lot of the things they're talking about is lies, and we in the squad, we've been here long enough to know that stuff is lies. There are a bunch of lies there, and so there's no need to engage in it. And even this nonsense competition stuff, there is no competition. Our faves are on another level, so to even apply like a competition to that is just so ridiculous. It's like there is no competition to be had. Our faves would, there's nothing. The only people that would benefit from those are the ones that can't measure up. Our faves don't benefit from those things. because they're in another level. So there's no need for us to engage in that. So Lorna says, didn't Megan go to the Taylor Swift concert earlier in the year? So what's the big deal? That's what I heard. I haven't seen any evidence of it. But again, whether she did or not, it's none of it. I mean, again, I think Taylor Swift, she seemed like a wonderful girl, a wonderful lady, but isn't it at the end of the day, is it that important? Whether, it's Taylor Swift or Beyonce, it's a concert. It's not a big deal. It is so not a big deal. Let people go to a concert and enjoy the concert. Who cares? It's just a concert at the end of the day. But yeah, let's see. Angelina says, no one dances constantly and has their mellow out moments. Well, hello. Has their mellow out moments, except for William. I'm just joking around. I thought it would have been a cool moment with the kids if the BM didn't drag Harry and Meghan into it. And again, they're always going to do that. If you've been on this space or in these streets for long enough, no matter what they write about William and Kate, just know they'll always bring Harry and Meghan into it because that's the only way they'll get clicks. And if I was a tabloid and I know the only way for me to get clicks is by bringing Harry and Meghan into something, well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring them into it because that's how I pay my bills. And that's what they do. And we just have to know that and don't engage and don't get me, just get it to a point where we're not paying their bills. And because we know a lot of it is based on lies and nonsense and propaganda. So yeah, we just don't have to engage in that nonsense. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, what happened to the chat? My chat just disappeared. What happened to it? Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Hang on. Oh, okay. There we go. My chat just disappeared there for a minute. I was like, how do you get this back? Let's see. Little Max says, I agree, but I also think that not everyone claimed to be a member of Sussex Squad really is a member. I totally agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely true. So, yeah. A lot of people come in, especially now, because people like to assume or at least say that the Sussex Squad is attacking Kate or it's just like, and so you will expect trolls to come in there and say things so that it would be like, when they say and do things that are negative and stuff, people would say, well, it's the Sussex Squad that does it. And even when people, and it's just like, you know what? The only people who would say this are the people who has been attacking the Sussexes for years. So they have no credibility anyway. So there you go. Let's see what else is there. Thierry says her impact is to show up and wave, photo op as usual. I'm assuming you're talking about Princess Anne. That literally is all I've ever seen. And so now I have to go perusing the royal family website to see some of her engagements and to see some of the organizations that she's a patron of, and then go check on those organization website to see what they've said about her or her role or impact, or even when she visits them, what happened after that. Because again, they don't really normally cover her, and she just kind of go about her business without any fuss, as opposed to just showing up and doing, and leaving or attending stuff, and which is basically what they do. They don't do anything other than attending things. And so yeah, let's, I'm just going through the chat. Tasia says Anne is tired of working and she needed a break, and being ill is the best way to check out. That could be it as well. I mean, look, if she needs a break at 73 years old, I don't begrudge any 73-year-old taking a break if she's tired, whatever. I literally don't begrudge anyone who needs a break at that age. It's like, take your break, whatever. And so yeah. But again, the royal family go on a break anyway. Don't they go away on vacation for like all of the summer? So I'm sure they're going to be going all on a break and shut down, even though they really haven't done anything for the year. They don't really do anything, period, but even less so this year. So yeah. Let's see. What else? Let's see. Little Mac says, oh, she's talking to, Little Mac is talking to Lorna, says, Lorna Williams, the BM said that Meghan at Taylor Swift concert with friends. There were also articles that Taylor Swift snubbed Meghan's request to be on Archetypes. No proof of either event. I think the whole Archetypes and Taylor Swift thing came out when that Spotify thing, when someone who I literally think it seemed to be one of those, I don't know, it's my guess that it has to be one of those Spotify producers who leaked all these things to the press. That one of the things they leaked, and other than Harry ideas for a podcast, which they were trying to use to embarrass them, one of the things that was leaked was that Meghan had written a letter to Taylor Swift to get her on her podcast, and I think Taylor Swift said no. That's fine. I mean, Taylor Swift was in the middle of doing her concerts and all of that stuff. It seems to be the second phase of her concert. That is fine. People say no all the time. That is just so not even a big deal. And so, yeah, I mean, the girl is busy all over the world doing her stuff. And she has a right to say no if she doesn't want to. Not everybody wants to sit, to do a podcast. And so she has every right to say no if she doesn't want to, even if it's for Meghan. And so, yeah. But, I mean, look at the people that Meghan ended up getting and how impacting their message was, and the conversations that they had with Meghan. And they were so amazing. So I don't feel like anybody missed anything. I don't think whatever Taylor Swift had to say would have been any more powerful than the ladies and men, actually, who were on Archetypes. So, yeah, she has a right to say no if she doesn't want to. She doesn't have to. And that is totally fine. So, yeah, it's not a big deal at all. People say no all the time. So, let's see what else as I go through. What else is there? Hang on, I'm just scrolling. Luana says, in the last year, Princess Anne has been in Canada 3 times. This visit would have been her 4th. Really? Even most Canadians don't know or have any idea what she's doing here. That's interesting. I didn't realize she's been there that many times. Are they just really afraid that Canada, well, a lot of Canadians want to kick the king out as head of state. So could this be why she's been there for all this time? Could be, because why else would she be? The 4th time? That is crazy. I've never heard that before. And so, again, this is me not paying attention to Princess Anne, not realizing what her schedule has been. I would only assume, that would be the only reason why she would be there that many times. Trying to secure and keep Canada under the monarchy. So, very interesting. And I know Charles is supposed to go to Australia sometime, I think in the fall, and I know at least what's been reporting, whether it's true or not, I don't no idea. But they are now reporting that because he was supposed to go to Fiji, and he was also supposed to go to New Zealand, and they're saying that because of his health, that they're going to cut out the Fiji and they're going to cut out the New Zealand, and they're only hello. Hi, how are you? I just got a peace sign from that nice lady walking by me. So the meeting, I guess the Commonwealth meeting is going to be in the Samoa Islands, I guess. And so again, he's supposed to go to Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, and they're going to cut out the Fiji and New Zealand part because of his health. Who knows? But again, Australia is one of those that want to get rid of the king. So, and he has not been there obviously since he became king, and so they are trying to make sure that oh, it's the coolest red bird. I'm going to show you this red bird that's right above me here. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Oh, wait. Here we go. This is such a cool red bird. Hello, red bird. Or wait, it's kind of orange. I hope you could see it there. Oh, that's so cool. Um, this is the fun thing of being in the park. You see all of these beautiful birds and stuff. Very cool. Hello. It's like literally right over me. Let's see. What else? Oh, it flew away. Um, let's see. What else you guys are saying? Um, Little Max says, Lorna Williams, that's so sad. All of the money flying to Canada, security, etc., and no impact. Again, that's the thing. What is the impact? So maybe the impact is, securing up the relationship between Canada and the UK. That could be it. But again, I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. So while our faves are silent, I want to go look into stuff like that. That stuff I think is important. Marilyn, hi Marilyn, says, Pedal, I don't watch British channels. It is Sussex friendly channels that I am referring to. Night after night, chasing negative Sussex content. It is not productive. I'm telling you, I totally understand. And that's what I understood that you meant, that it is Sussex friendly channel. And again, every content creator, they focus on the things they want to focus on. So I'm not going to go on, I'm not going to be criticizing anyone's choices that they make in reference to their channels. But I think as viewers, we have the choice as to what we want to listen to. So if it's something that you feel like, no, I don't want to, you're not obligated to. Don't feel obligated to, even if you have been, a subscriber or whatever to a channel, even to this channel. If it's not something that you want to listen to and you want to engage in, turn it off. Literally, turn it off. You are not obligated to anyone. Even as a member, even if you have a membership in the channel, if you have a subscriber to the channel, if you feel like it's just going in a direction, even this channel, if you feel like it's going in a direction that you don't want to, unsubscribe, stop the membership, or just don't listen to that episode. The power is all yours. And so don't feel like you're obligated to do any of those things. And so, yeah, look, again, I'm not going to go criticizing people. Everyone decides what they want to talk about and what's important to them. So, again, I'm not going to be criticizing anybody's decisions and those things. But you have the power as to what you want to listen to. And if you don't want to listen to something, don't. There are sometimes there's a reason, like even on X, that people in the squad who are Sussex squad members for a long time, I've had to mute some of them. I've had to block because I refuse to have their content coming across my feed where they're engaging with trolls and where they're engaging with members of the British press. I refuse. So I blocked them or I have muted them. So because I don't want to engage in that. Have the power in your hands. So yeah. Let's see. And again, even this channel, because sometimes I do real world stuff that are really heavy. And if you can't handle it, you can. Believe me, I will not hold it against you. I totally understand. So yeah. Let's see. Little Mac, yes, every time they show up, we pay for it. Travel, security, accommodation, etc. All for a wave and a smile and a picture. Yep. And the thing with the British people, I guess, you protest more. Be in the faces of the people who are making the decisions to fund them. Be in their faces more. But a lot of the Brits, I feel like there's just a lot of apathy there. So people seem to not care what they do. And so they're kind of just doing whatever they want to do. Little Max says, Lorna, wow, does Canada contribute anything to the monarchy, for example, taxes? I think they do. I think they do. I think they do. And maybe all the other countries that the king is head of, I think they do. So I could be wrong, but I think they do. So London squaddies, UK squaddies, please chime in and let me know I could be wrong. Let's see. see. Um, Little Max says, Tasia, it is amazing to me how many of the tabloid stories are false. Do these people have no shame? No, they don't. That question, I mean, you ask and answer that. No, they don't. They know that there is an audience for it, even in the ridiculous, if take for example the U.S. tabloids, right? In the U.S. tabloids, we don't have the same way. We don't look at U.S. tabloids the same way as we do the UK tabloids. In the UK tabloid news, as false as it is mainstream press. The US, there's a clear divide between tabloids, for example, the National Enquirer or Hollywood Life or whatever it is. There's a clear divide between mainstream press and the tabloids. But even with that clear divide, and a lot of the US tabloids are somebody had a baby with an alien nonsense, the US tabloid have a huge market. People still buy it. They love lies. They love the fake stuff. And so, yeah, the reason why it's there, the reason why the tabloids are there and have no shame doing lies is because there's a market for it. Because again, if there wasn't, like for example in the US, it wouldn't be there because it's an obvious lie. We know the tabloids, they obviously lie. I mean, how many times could Jennifer Aniston be pregnant? Like by this time, it's probably 1,000 times by now. So how many babies can, these, I mean, every time you look around, they're pregnant with another baby. It's like the person never even had a baby. And so it's obvious lies. Yet in the US, tabloids are big business because people love being lied to. I guess it's the escape, even though they know it's a lie. And there's no shame. So it's just, yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. TMCD says, yes, Princess Anne has been here a few times this year, in Canada, but not big news coverage. Okay, so Canada has been covering it big, well as well. Very interesting. Again, she doesn't, I mean, nobody's going to pick up a paper because Princess Anne is in it, so it's not, yeah. Now, if it turns out there's more drama going on into why she has a concussion and why her husband had this questionable shiner, then it becomes big news. But until that happens, I don't think people are going to be all that interested in what Princess Anne does, whether it's good or not. So, Terry said, TS, I'm assuming Taylor Swift doesn't do podcasts or nothing, and nothing is wrong in asking someone to be the guest on a podcast. These people are making something out of nothing. Slow news day, I guess. Absolutely. Again, not everybody is interested in doing a podcast. And so, yeah, and especially if they don't feel like it will give them the benefit they need. I mean, Taylor Swift doesn't need Meghan for publicity or any of that stuff. Taylor Swift is, whatever she does, I mean, the world would be looking. She's probably one of the biggest celebrities in the world at the moment. So unless she feels it's something that's going to give her, propel her even further than where she is, she's not going to do it. And so that's fine. She's a bigger celebrity around the world than Meghan is. So yeah, that's how they think. So yeah. Let's see. Kathy says, hello, Petal. Princess Anne has taken the pages out of QE2's book. Not sure what the impact is, but she goes where she is sent, a trooper. At least she is more consistent than the others. That's definitely true. She definitely goes where she is sent because, they serve at basically the request of the British government, and wherever they want her to go, she goes, impact or not. So at least, yeah, and you're so true. She's definitely more consistent than the futures and the futures and future futures. I mean, she is definitely, well, the future futures are babies. So the futures, she's definitely more consistent than them. So there you go, even at 73. So, but it would be interesting to know what her impact is. I mean, the futures, there is no impact there. So, but again, look, the things that they, William forever wants to do, whether it's homelessness, whether, whatever. The other day he was in the Isles of Scilly, I guess it's called, breaking ground so they can do a health center there so that the people on the island don't have to travel to the mainland to get help. Those are good things. Those are very good things. And for me, even though I'm not here for Prince William, I hope that they are successful. I hope his, even though the Earthshot thing is a mess, the people who they are featuring, the people who are actually doing the work, I wish them, whatever it is they're doing, that it benefits the earth. So I want them to be successful. So I don't care that William is the one featuring them. I want it to be successful because I know people would benefit from it. I want the homeless thing to be successful because why? William has the resources, he has the land, he has the money, he has the connections with the government that can make this work. If it is successful, it can help homeless people off the streets. So for me, I don't care who's doing it as long as somebody does it and it's successful. So, but my thing has always been with William and Kate and their stuff is that they don't put in the work. They want all the press. It becomes all about them instead of doing the work to make it successful. And so, that's how I feel about that whole thing. But anyways, Boo Boo Romero says, what park are you in? I'm not going to say, only because for security reasons. I'm not going to say it, just in a park at the moment. Only because, people are crazy when, and especially like this is live, so I'm still here. And so for that reason, I'm not going to say. Maybe in a later date I'll say, but not today. But thanks for asking, Boo Boo. Just in a park. So let's see. Tina says, a work in progress. Princess Anne does a lot of visits under the radar. She does. And again, I'm not questioning at all that she does a lot in the sense of visit different places, go to different events and stuff. That is not in question. It's obvious she does. My question is, what has been her impact? For all the things she does, what tangible impact is there that the fact that she showed up, something happened, people benefited from it, whatever, like we see with Harry and Meghan, they show us tangible impact in the work that they do. And so that is for me the question with Princess Anne. Let's see. What else? I'm gonna see. TMC said that bird looks is like my backyard. Lots of birds. Yeah, I know. I love it. And sometimes people think like New York, we only have hard pavement, which we do. Like down, you can see some of the pavement there, but we do have beautiful butterflies are flying around me and birds and stuff like that. So New York has some beautiful places, and so a lot of times people don't really realize that. They only think of New York as like Times Square, and it's just like, well, we're a little bit more than just Times Square. We do have beautiful places here. So yeah, which is for me, I like to come to. So there, let's see. Kadisha says the royal family shouldn't visit countries unless it benefits the British citizens. They visit places where it benefits the government and the royals, so which is usually what they do. So yeah, when they go to these countries, it's because they want something. It's not just they don't going to the country to give anything. It's because they want something from that country. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up. Let's see. It says Anne visits to the Maritime Provinces early spring, Vancouver Island early 2024, both military patron visits. Banff, is that how you say Banff, Alberta, for a private conference. Visits only mentioned briefly on the news. Again, what does she do? What exactly? For someone who has no military experience, whatever, and I mean whatever. How I'm always like interested in these military, organizations, like how they feel about someone being like the head, or even if it's a ceremonial role. how do you, I don't know how you could be proud of something like that, especially if you're in a situation where people who have actually served in the military, like I don't know. I always get feel like how do you like how do you even reconcile that to having someone like that be head of your organization or whatever? It's very interesting to me. Let's see. Vinny is asking the same question. What does Anne ever do when she comes to Canada? I have never seen a report of her being here, certainly not in Alberta. Maybe she just does government things in Ottawa. Could be. Could be. And visit military stuff. So, yeah. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Little Max said, oh, she's talking to Marilyn Matthews. Toni Morrison said, the purpose of racism is to keep you justifying your existence. And negative Sussex stories serve the same purpose. That is why Harry and Meghan ignore those stories. And we need to do the same. We need to do the same. Stop justifying and stop, trying to justify stuff for the Sussexes. The Sussexes have done what they've done. They don't need anyone regurgitating like a million times, or trying to compete or any of those things. They really don't. They've done what they've done. They said what they said. It's out there. So yeah, you don't need to be justifying what the Sussex does. You don't need to be making excuses. You don't need, nothing. Let people either accept it or leave, so yeah. What else? Oh, really? Lorna says the royal family owns Canada Crown land, which is about 80% of the land in the... What? Really? I have been trying to find out how much revenue they get from that. I had no idea. And that is so true, because a lot of what I understood is that whatever country that the royals are head of, for example, Canada, Australia, Jamaica, whatever, that they're still head of, they do own crown land there. I've asked Jamaicans, I remember talking to Jamaicans about when Jamaica just decided that they were going to start, doing the work and the paperwork to become a republic, about the crown land in Jamaica. And they said that the Jamaica actually owned that land. What I understood it was wherever they are head of state, that they own the crown land. The land belongs to the monarchy. And so they said no, that the crown land there actually belongs to the Jamaican people. So I guess in Canada it's different. I don't know. So, but that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. Well, there you go. Anne is probably there going to make sure, about Canada's land and whatever profits they get. These people own so much. The monarchy they are one of the biggest landowners in the world, and so it's just very interesting to me. So let's see. Very, very interesting. Tasia says Commonwealth countries do pay millions to the royal family government. Government yearly. It's part of being in the cult. And I would never understand this. I just... And then these people have the nerve to be head of a Commonwealth. And it's just like, well, you have all the wealth. How is this common in any way? As that lady on the Indian news outlet said, this is an insult. The wealth isn't common. So yeah, let's see. Wow. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up. Oh my goodness. Kathy Gabby says the royal family owns 85% of the land in Canada? Wow. That's interesting. Wow. 85. Wow. TMCD says, Pedal, I did see a split-second mention of Anne's accident and nothing else. Yeah, and again, I haven't read the article. I saw it and I didn't even read it, but it seemed like they're not even sure. They said it's probably the horse, and the horse did something or something. I don't really know. And but they said she has a concussion, so it's like, well, I don't think she remembers if it's a horse or not. But yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah. Lorna says, Kathy Gabby, yes, it's called federal crown land and provincial crown land. Oh my gosh. Wow. Interesting. Message by, oh, hey, Lydia is here. Hello, Lydia. How are you? I didn't even see a post from Lydia. But hello, I'm happy you're here. It's been a while. Vinny says, how can the royal family own something they stole from the First Nation? Time for Parliament to act. They're not going to, unfortunately. And one of the things I remember when Charles was in Canada and there was a whole thing about reparations and all of those things, one of the things that Indigenous people seem to do, same thing that happens in African countries and Caribbean countries when the royals show up, is that they welcome them. They have parties, they have dinners and show their hospitality, and then start talking about, oh, reparations. I will always go back to that writer in St. Vincent who said, and it's so weird, I've been looking for that article and it seemed that article was deleted. But he talked about when these people come on your land, when colonizers come on your land, do not welcome them. When they come on your land, they need to know that they are walking on a murder site, that their people massacred your people. You do not welcome them. They know that they are walking into a crime scene that their ancestors created. And this is the thing that has been happening over and over and over. It doesn't matter where these royals go. They accept them and they welcome them. They give them gifts and all of those things. You think these people are going to respect you when you do all those things? And you think you could play nice to colonizers and then they would respect you and give you money that they stole from you? They're colonizers. This is who they are. They will not respect that. These people are not nice people. And so when you welcome them and don't really hold them to account, they're not going to respect you. And so I don't care how many times whether it's the First Nations or, African countries or Caribbean countries are screaming, give us reparations or apologies. If you don't start demanding it and start treating them like that St. Vincent reporter says, don't expect anything from them because they don't respect you. So there it is. Until these leaders and these people understand that, nothing is going to change. Not a thing is going to change. So yeah, don't welcome them onto your land. So there you go. Belinda says, Boo Boo Romero, Pedals in the park with a big tree. I know. I love trees, so that's why the tree is the center of this photo. It's why you notice whenever I'm in the park, I always find a tree. I love trees. It's my favorite things. So yeah, especially the ones with the really cool branches and stuff like this one. This is like such cool branches. I love that. Water and trees. I love three things in my life. Like, if I have that, I'm just happy. I'm very simple taste. Sunrise, sunset, water, and trees. If I have that, and then I love birds and butterflies. I grew up with this sort of thing, and it's something that, for me, whenever I'm, and I love flowers too. It's a pity that I can't be around them for a long time. Today, I know when I go home, I have to take a lot of medicine because I've been out here a lot longer than I should. Usually 30 minutes is as long as I should be around flowery things, but it's now been an hour, so I'm going to pay for it later, but it's such a nice day, so I think it's going to be worth it. But yeah, if I have these things, then I'm happy. So that's why you're seeing a tree. So yeah. There's water behind me, but there are people that are sunbathing and I don't want to invade on their privacy. So yeah, we'll leave them alone and just focus on the tree. So yeah, let's see. A couple more before I end. Congratulations to Mindy Kaling on welcoming her baby girl. Oh my goodness! I didn't even realize she was pregnant. Mindy has a baby girl. My goodness! Yeah, congratulations! Wow, that's awesome. Oh, I know she's a good friend of Meghan and Harry, so I love that. Aw, she has a baby girl. Wow, congrats, man. Let's see. Let's see what else. Let's see. Okay, this is true. I mean, she says, "I'm afraid we'll be seeing more of the royal family in Canada for PR purposes because of other Commonwealth countries are thinking of leaving." Yeah, and I know Jamaica is they're really pushing ahead for this. So hopefully the people of Jamaica will vote because they're gonna have to put it to a vote. So hopefully the people of Jamaica are of the mind of Barbados and that they will put it to a vote. But even though, I mean, even though Barbados and stuff, they are now a republic, a lot of them still the strings are still there because they still have the governor general that the queen has put in place and all of that stuff, so the strings are still attached. And so it's like, y'all people need to let loose of those strings and know that you can do this. So yeah, but interesting. uh TJ, a work in progress, says the royal family no longer owns property outside of the United Kingdom. Not sure that's true. King Charles owns property. I know he owns property in Transylvania because I think last year, right after he became king, he went there to visit his property there. So I don't think Transylvania is part of the UK. So that's not quite true. Now, the countries that he's the head of state of, people have said different things. Like, for example, Jamaica said that no, that's owned by Jamaicans, and a Canadian is saying that they own property in Canada. So I don't know. This could be true, could not. I do know that they do own property outside of the UK. So, like Transylvania. So there you go. He owns like like a house, and I think like bed and breakfast or something like that there. So yeah. Let's see. Vinny says Canada will likely be the last majority white country to leave the Commonwealth. They will need for a bigger shift in the population diversity. That could be true. Yeah, that could be very true. So let's see what else. HMALD says, was it ever confirmed that Meghan did ask Taylor Swift to be on her podcast? I don't think there was ever any truth to it. Does anyone know? Again, the only reporting that ever came out about that was when there was all of this leak from whomever went with Spotify. The Sussexes have never denied it when that came out. So this all came out at that time. So who knows? Harry and Meghan never really confirmed or denied any of that stuff, so we don't know. But again, whether that is true or not, people say no to that stuff all the time, and Taylor Swift has a right to say no if she doesn't want to be on it, even if it's Meghan, so it's totally fine. But I don't know. Let's see. Tazia says the UK government are the ones who own the foreign lands. The royal family are just the figurehead as a face of UK. That's why they live on benefit as their allowance. Maybe in some cases, but for example, the Jersey and Guernsey, they are Channel Islands. They are in the English Channel. That isn't, people always think like the UK government owns that, and that's not true. That is owned by the Crown. So those islands are Crown-owned islands, not the UK government. And the Crown is the head of state of those, which we've talked about Jersey before. It's a pedophile island, which is also a tax shelter, the famous, very infamous, I should say, tax shelter that a lot of corruption goes on there. And it's also associated with, say, the City of London. We also talked about that as well. That is actually owned by the Crown, Jersey Island and Guernsey, and not the UK government. So maybe places, other lands as well that's owned by the UK government, I don't know, but I know the Channel Islands. Those are definitely crown property, not the UK government. So yeah. Let's see. Um, very people are very interested in this, the real estate stuff. This is very interesting and very cool. Says TJ says a work in progress. That's incorrect. They have real estate in New York, Dubai, and QE2 even has part ownership in a horse farm in Kentucky. I wouldn't be surprised, especially Kentucky, because the Queen, whenever she came to the U.S., Kentucky was one of the places that she always went to because she has very wealthy friends out there, and horses were also part of this. So I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. So very interesting. That's why a lot of these people in the U.S. were, when Harry and Meghan left, there was such an uproar in the U.S. because Queen Elizabeth does have a lot of connection with a lot of parts, especially in the West. So yeah, or South, or wherever Kentucky. Where is Kentucky? No. And Texas and stuff like that. So very interesting. Let's see. Anne says, hello all, I'm enjoying the beautiful view Petal is giving us today. I hope everyone is well. Oh, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Anne. And I hope everyone is well. Ali San, oh, I love that name. Ali San says, please, I love you. Oh, come to Germany. We'll give you 2,000 for a week. Oh, you were so sweet. I would love to come to Germany. I really wanted to come to when Invictus was in Dusseldorf. I really wanted to be there. That became a mess. That couldn't go. But I would love to come to Germany. Actually, one of my dreams is to backpack around Europe. So Germany was one of the places, when I liked the UK, now not so much. So Paris, Germany, and all of that. So yes, one day I will be there, Lord willing. Thank you, Ali-san. Aww. Let's see. Let's see. Lorna says the Panama Papers exposed the royal family when QE2 was queen and exposed her real estate dealings along with other billionaires. Yeah, she had a lot of money in tax havens around. Yes, she does. And, so the royal family, they never said that she moved her money out of those tax havens. And again, as in the case with Jersey and Guernsey, which are also tax havens, which, by the way, and I don't even know if they mentioned it again. I know King Charles was supposed to go visit Jersey Island, and for some reason they said it, and then I never heard from it. So I don't know when exactly he's going to be going to Jersey. But yeah, they have in tax shelter around. So yes, very, very, very true. It became a big deal when people found out when the Panama Papers came out that the Queen had all this money in tax shelters. So yeah, and one of the reasons nobody will ever know how much money they have because they have the government shielding them. So yeah, let's see what else. Let's see. But it says, so it's unfortunate I'm not able. Oh, I'm so sorry. This platform doesn't allow me to filter it. It's just straight from YouTube, so it doesn't have the filter that I normally would have. So sorry, but we're ending in a minute. So any trolls that are on here know that we're going to block you, and whatever comment that you are going to put there is not going to be there for long. So don't waste your time. You're free to listen, but don't come in here trolling, especially not our faves. So I apologize. So yeah. Butterfly just came right by my eye. And says Transylvania, vampire country. King Charles owns property. Maybe. Wait. What is it? I just lost. I was reading it and it just jumped away. I'm so sorry. Maybe through his ancestors, Queen Victoria, and as Albert was German. I have no idea how he owned it, but I know he owns it. He's owned it for a while. So yeah, and I know right after he became king, that's one of the places he went to sort of relax. So yeah, um, let's see. Anne says maybe all those tax havens. Well, that's why Harry was a little befuddled when he said that, because again, that's how these people become rich. They're very cheap. They do not spend their money on especially black people. Notice when they did the Windrush generation, that whole thing has been there where they're supposed to pay reparations to the Windrush families, and they never have, and they still not haven't to this day. A lot of them are dying, and even the ones that they paid, they haven't paid the whole thing, and it's a lot less than what they said. Instead, what they did, they spent what, $2 million on a statue. That's what they did. Instead of giving the money to people, the people who are suffering because they can't, all of a sudden they can't work and all of that stuff because they're considered as not citizens, they rather spend that money on a statue, which they did. And so they are not big on spending money on people with black blood. So that's why. That's why Harry was, surely you're not telling me that you don't have money when you have all of this. And so, yeah, they have the money. They just don't, they spend it on themselves. And, you know, they will give themselves all the things they need, but they're not going to be spending that stuff on people with black blood. That's how they are. So, yeah, they're very cheap with, you know, either that and cheap with the people that work for them. They are very, very cheap with that. So, yeah. Let's see. April Love says there's Prince Edward Island, and I think the BRF is connected. Oh, I love every time I think of Prince Edward Island, isn't that where Anne of Green Gables was set? I think that's where it was set. I always have, you know, imagine Prince Edward Island just like the picture in front of me, like with all the green. So yeah, I don't know, but I think so. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So, a couple more before we end. Let's see. Let's see. Lorna says, Prince Edward Island is the smallest province in Canada. It's just named after an earlier member of the royal family. That's the only connection. We have lots of things named after royals over here. People need to stop putting royals as the name of their things because it's like ridiculous, but yeah. And Lorna says, yes, Anne of Green Gables is set in Prince Edward Island. I love Anne of Green Gables, such a cool thing. Anne with an E. So I always remember Anne with an E. So yes, but anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, chatting. I know it was a bit of impromptu, but you know, sometimes you're outside and in the park. Hey, what better time to do it, right? So anyways, have a fantastic day. Thank you guys all. I'm so sorry again about the trolls, and thank you for our awesome moderators. Lydia, I didn't even see your posts, but I see you blocked, I think, or took out some crazy posts, I am assuming. So, and whoever else is here for our moderators are Lydia, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen, Karen M, Church Nelly. Anybody know what's up with Church Nelly? I don't know. I haven't heard any latest thing with Church Nelly, so I hope she is doing well. So please let me know. You can definitely email me at factsand2cents@gmail. Let me know how Church Nelly, and Church Nelly, if you're listening, email me and let me know who you are. So definitely we're praying for you. Also, we're praying for Rafaela's brother. Hopefully he is doing better, and everyone else. So anyway, I love you guys. Have a fantastic day, New Yorkers. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and I will chat with you all later. Bye.